Hi, I'm Glen Rose. For those of you who've been working with my YouTube video lesson, Play Jazz with Just Six Chords, or the book that goes with it, The Gateway to Jazz Guitar, I'm going to show you a way to alter the middle chord in the three-chord jazz pattern that I think you'll find interesting. I'll show it to you in what I call the A shapes. That's the pattern we use in that YouTube video lesson. If you're not familiar with that lesson, you'll probably want to take a look at it because it'll help this one make more sense. This alteration gets used a lot. It just gives us more jazz color to work with in our playing. I'll start up here on fret 5. Now I'm only playing 4 strings for every chord. So the first chord is here, and the second chord here, and here. Just like usual, so we get that sound. But we're going to aim for this. We're going to add one more chord in the middle. Okay, so let's see how we're going to do this. It's the second chord, the middle chord of the progression that usually looks like this. What I'm going to do is lower this string here where my little finger is playing it right here. I'm going to lower it back 1 fret. Now you may finger this in a whole nother way. I like to do it this way, but there's several other ways you can go about it, and we talk about that in the book. However you make this chord, we're going to lower this string here back 1 fret. So how are we going to do this? These 3 have to stay the same, and this one's got to go back. So we could just regroup these 3 here and with other fingers, and now this finger's back here where we want it. But this position really isn't that comfortable to work with. If it works for you, great, but I think you're going to find maybe it's not so comfortable to put the hands like this. An easier way to do it is to flatten your index finger out here so you get 3 strings covered, and then put these fingers back here, and there's the whole chord. So this works out quite conveniently if you make it like I do, like this, and I just roll back like that. This is a nice comfortable finger position. I can just always go back and forth with it. No matter how you're making this first chord, I think you're going to find that when you go to the second chord, if you use this idea of putting your little bar here and then these fingers up here, it's going to work. When you play this altered chord alone, it's not very interesting. But if you play it as a part of a jazz pattern and hear how it's applied, then you get the right effect out of it. When we put it into the pattern, we come up with this. And then we hear the beauty of the chord as it moves in conjunction with the other chords. So we can play this 3-chord pattern anywhere on the neck, just like we do with the regular pattern. So let's go up a half a step. I'll come down here. So we're getting more color into our jazz pattern. It just gives us another texture to work with when we're putting the chords together. We can play it also using just the first 2 chords and the alteration in the pattern, so it's like this. And then, if I want, I can go down to the last chord in the pattern. So you can mix and match these things in various ways, however you want to get creative with them. I'm going to put it into kind of a Latin groove here, a bossa groove. You can just try it in any groove that you like. And so I'll just go through it, mixing up the patterns. So there I'm going directly to the alteration. Instead of going here and then to the alteration, I can just use the alteration instead of the second chord. So you can mix and match in various ways. Now, as always with these short lessons, I don't say the names of the chords. And that's because if I do, it brings out a lot of questions from the students and unnecessary explanations before we can learn the chords. They just kind of get in the way. You can learn things a lot faster if you don't think about the names. The names for all of the chords, if you want them, are in my Gateway to Jazz Guitar books, the names for all of the chords I have in all of my lessons. And you can get that from the website if you want.